Double live gone. We are rolling. So we are really excited to see everybody. That's not how that was supposed to work, so sorry about the double sound there, but we will get it back together. We have got Hörknunger's Fornland full album playing in the background. If you haven't, you should go check out Hörknunger, Herknungr. Is an amazing place to be. And Scarlett, oh my god, you made it at the beginning. So, sad news, we're going to talk about this today, but unfortunately just a few minutes ago, our cat passed away, so we are going to probably need to cut a little early. We know exactly what we're doing and where he is going to rest in peace. So we're going to get through this and do our normal talk afterwards. But we're going to do that on the road because we obviously have an hour and a half drive to make now, which I'm actually happy to be going out to the land, which we need to anyway. And so glad to see you. Good morning, Dragon and Paranormal. We're ready to get started. We have a different setup today. So, yeah, thank you, Paranormal. I've had him since 2005, I think, since he was a little kitty. He's been with me through a couple of different relationships. He's been through me multiple states of living. I am sad, but as you can tell, I'm not like broken sad at the moment. He was sick. He was not in pain, we don't think, just by monitoring him, but he couldn't gain weight. He would eat like he's ravenous, but then he would forget that he's eating, so dementia. I mean, there's lots of things going on with him, and so I think he's in a better no, I actually just had some, thank you though. So he's in a better space. So sad, yes. I'm glad that he's not under that discomfort. So hopefully you guys can hear. There might be some background noise and things happening because we are outside. We started this service outside, and that is where we're going to do today's service from, is outside.
It's amazing.
We've got We've got some good topics today. I'm excited that Scarlett is in here, because we are going to talk a little bit about, like what we're reading and what we're doing, and a little bit about last night's review. I left it being very excited, and God, Scarlett, it's got to be what? Isn't it 7 o'clock for you? That's like early.
It was early. Oh. It's amazing, guys. I encourage you in the Demon's Den Discord every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Take an hour and a half of your time. It's worth it. Even if you don't feel like you have any issues to work through, it's very nice. The first night I was shown some tools and exercises to really help with a couple things I'm dealing with.
If you don't think you have anything to work through, then we'll help you find it. Trust me.
You definitely need to come. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah. And I think, I like the low-keyness of it. I like the conversational flavor. Last night was the first one. It was really nice. I don't know that I'm going to, be able to attend every single one that ever exists or ever happens because there's just lots of stuff going on. But it certainly will be one of my priorities because, and a reason I share that is I just don't want anybody to think that you have to go to every single one every time. But Scarlett has blessed us with the time, her time. Of course, as soon as I light these things, it gets like incredibly windy. We got to be careful with these. Okay, we got lots of flame, and I don't want to catch anybody on fire because you can't shorten the wicks. But anyway, again, super excited about all that stuff. I know. Well, we appreciate it because I know you've got so much going on. Damn it! I wasn't supposed to hit the button. Shoot, I was trying to correct the direction of the mic, and I actually just changed the setting on it. One of the things I do not like about this lovely thingy-mabobber here. So let me make sure. Okay, you should still be able to hear us fine. I agree, Dragon Dancer. I absolutely agree. It felt comfortable. I felt completely comfortable sharing stuff. I hope that this is something that will continue, for a long time. And should life changes happen or occur, then we can go down to every other week, or you know what I'm saying? It was nice. I really, really enjoyed that.
So a lot of cool stuff this week. The mental health support group talk with Scarlett. Melvin had his freaking book, which I've started. I mean, what a good week for manifesting things and for also like tuning into things.
Absolutely.
This has been a really, really great week.
Yeah, if Miss VG Dog doesn't stop her barking soon, we are going to take care of that. Don't worry. She usually will calm down after a bit, so hopefully that will happen. But Dragon Dancer, I am with you 100% on board with that. It was the one thing we're going to figure out, I think, though, that I was not happy with is the sound quality. There was a couple of instances, and there's some delays, and we just want to. I mean, it's not like it's a big problem. I just want to mention next time. We might need to figure out, because there's a little bit of a delay. There's some things that are happening with that made it a little difficult. But we'll see. Yes. And Paranormal, you are more than welcome. If you see us in there, you should come.
Please.
Nobody has to have their video on. You don't even have to speak. You can just hang out in the corner. Nobody's gonna to put you on the spot. Just be present and be in the corner.
And to me, what a great time to do it, coming up on Yule time.
Yeah.
To get started and tuning in before the new year.
Yeah.
Right?
Zoom is definitely something I think we can consider. Zoom or Skype. I don't know, though. I think it's going to really depend on people's individual setups, ultimately. But that's something we probably should consider.
The only thing with Zoom is we have to look at it. It might time us out after 30 minutes, and everybody has to call back in. So that's definitely something we could look into, though.
Yeah, if you're not paying for Zoom, each participant, you have a 30-minute limit. That's why we use Discord, because there's no limit. And you can't really tie it in, Scarlett. You can. We can link it. Like, you can put a link in there where people can go to instead. And I am completely fine with that. If we want to try that next time and see how that goes, I'm for it.
Oh, she's Zoom with no limits.
Yeah, I just don't know if that affects you end users. I'm not sure. We can try it. I mean, the worst case scenario, it kicks us out. We log back in.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Why not?
So, and then what I can do is I can keep the eye on the Discord just in case people pop in there that may not get the message, and make sure they have the link, So, that'll be fun. Now, real quick, we're going to go ahead and do our corners and call the circle so we can get this video up and running. Because, we're ready to roll.
All right, you want to start? You want me to?
Doesn't matter. What do you think? I don't have mine. You ready? I'll start. Hear me, friends and ancestors from the East. Hear my voice carried on the air of clarity and truth. Watch over us as we cast our circle of safety and love.
See me, friends and ancestors from the South. See my flame of passion and creation, seared into the energy of the universe. Watch over us as we cast our circle of limitless possibilities.
Feel me, friends and ancestors from the West. Feel my love, fear, sadness, and joy washed into the waters of the rivers of compassion. Watch over us as we cast our circle of connection and motion.
Reach me, friends and ancestors from the North. Reach my feet and my hands, the earth in my toes and work of my fingers. Watch over us as we cast our circle of the earth.
Know me, friends and ancestors from the ether. Know my intent, know my heart, and know my spirit. Watch over us as we ask you all to join us in perfect love and perfect trust.
Hear, see, feel, reach, and know that this circle is safe, the circle is sacred, and the circle is cast. Be it so.
So mote it be. Awen.
Awen.
She is off of her rocker right now. I'm hoping she will calm down. She left us. And this is VG playing with Finny now.
Good morning. I like this freaking flame.
I do too, but it's a bit much on the...
Can we do it inside?
It's no.
Oh.
It's citronella, so it's got a little bit of a funk. And I can't make the wicks any lower, so it's kind of high. But yeah, okay, Dragon. Yeah, I'm not a big Zoom person. We always use Teams at work, and then before that we used Skype. We had Skype for business. We were never a Zoom org, so I'm not familiar with it. So if that would work, I think that would be a awesome attempt. We should try it for sure. And I will connect that. Thank you for the message. I will connect that over, and we will try it next Saturday. Well, wait a minute. Next Saturday. So it should be known.
Hey, little tree sap.
I believe it's next Saturday. That is our Yule, right, at Heather's. Confirm that for me. Is that
that's too early?
Am I a week off? I'm a week off. Okay, good. So next week we're good. It's the following week that we won't be able to participate. Okay. All right, got it. And yes, I got your message, Scarlett. I will adjust the little the image, the little marketing thingy, and correct that, and then we'll put it on.
Seriously though, I really encourage anybody, and I'm going to put it, if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to share it on my Facebook and Instagram, because this is like something that it's really needed, it's really beneficial, and it's really helpful. And for me personally, I don't like this time of year because whether it's at work, at home, whatever, everything is so hectic, busy, chaotic. This is needed to help with the tune into yourself, I think, for me.
No, I completely agree. As we talked about last week when we discussed Yule a bit, it's never been, I don't like Christmas, I don't like this time of year, but it's only because of the associations I have. And I'm excited this year because we are actively and mentally taking and making adjustments to that. So as you can see, we're doing a little bit of decorations. We went shiny, silver, blue, and gold. We're trying to avoid the green and red of Christmas because that's part of the trigger for me that I just am not fond of at this point. Something I'm going to work through it with, but ultimately, I want to turn this time of year back into something that I enjoy, which I used to until my family fucked it up because of me not being perfect to them.
I think we could turn it, well, for my part, look into a setting for the Fae or something. A lot of shinies.
Yeah, baubles.
Baubles.
Fae baubles.
Yeah.
So yeah, excited. And before we go into the next hello, it's getting together. I think between Samhain and Yule and creating. I think that we're gonna have to coordinate a spirit walk somewhere in the midst of that. I think that's the halfway point between the two. So I'm excited about that. But hello, little tree sap, yay!
And black Yule tree, that's awesome. That would be nice.
We have a black tree, but it's got all the colored lights on it, and the colored lights bother me for some reason.
We'll have to work on that, maybe.
Yeah, it's associations, I know.
Next Yule.
But yeah, I mean, this is the first time I have done any decorating for anything that is remotely considered Christmas-ishy. Just because I have not been comfortable doing so. Like, I just don't like it. And I know exactly why. Like, it's not even a secret. I just have to work through it. And I'm proud that this year we talked about it. We specifically said we're going to make Yule our season again. But yeah.
And I'm going to try to work through my aversion to angels. Mel gave me
he gave me some
good advice, but I really got to work through that because that's part for me. And it may just be the freaky cherubs, I don't know, but I don't like angels, and I need to work through that and see what that's about. Still may not like them, but at least I should try.
Yeah, make an effort to it. I think that's fun. I finished today The Expanse, book 1.
Books.
We're not going to talk too detailed books because we
Okay.
are going to do that afterwards. But like we said, we're just mentioning kind of where we are. Let me tell you, if The Expanse, the book, the only reason I've ever put it down is because I fell asleep or I had to get up and actually go to work. I already got the second book; it's already loaded. So totally up for The Expanse. If you like fiction and you like the space kind of, oh my god, it's good. Like it's good.
Yeah, I agree, Dragon.
Made some good
read
progress on mastering magic and on polyvagal theory. Got to go in and do some of those exercises from what we talked about last night. So, what are you reading?
Okay, so I'm currently reading, and don't crucify me if I mispronounce, but I'm reading Aradia or Aradia. I've heard it said both ways. I like Aradia or The Gospel of Witches. I know it's a pretty old classic book by Charles Leland, but I'm fascinated with the story and the invocations, incantations, and rituals in this book.
Look at it.
Got me interested in Diana, which I hadn't really been before. I'm still working on Psychic Witch. Very free-flowing book. It's like a conversation. The exercises are really good as a reminder and a connection. And of course, I'm reading So Strange Times Volume 1 by Mel S. Let me tell you, I got into, I think I'm coming up on chapter 3. I've met the main character, his dad, the neighborhood witch. I've met his bike, Celine, and this is a really, I lost track of time last night when reading that, so we're all so happy for Mel, and you can get your copy of this on Amazon.
Yep, I've got mine on the Kindle. I'm going to have that in my reading rounds here in a minute.
And how freaking cool is it that Jurian did the art?
Jurian.
That is so awesome.
But let me just say, even above and beyond that, I don't know if Mel's been talking about it. I watch his things. Sometimes they're long and I don't catch the whole thing, so I don't really remember him talking much about it. But man manifested what he wanted. I am jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
And Mel did this silently and strongly, and boom. That's I love to see when people put things out, and
I have to bring her out.
this moved to the top of my reading list. So between the mental health study group and Mel's book coming out this week, this really made it a good week for me in celebration of all things we're all doing.
Yep. Sorry I jumped up there, but they knocked over a folding table. I just wanted to make sure nobody got hurt. But we're going to have to bring VG out, I think. Put her, whatchamacallit on. If you want to grab her, do you want me to?
Which one do you put on, or the one I can never do?
No, just
pink one?
whatever one.
Will the Burberry one work? Come on, Beach.
Should.
Let me go get your Burberry. You got stuff.
Yeah, it's not very conducive to her because she's not allowed out because we don't have a fence or anything that's going to really hold her in. I don't know. You can kind of see we have construction fencing around just to make sure that no kids or anybody falls in because it's open pool. But yeah, so we're gonna get that checked. But yeah, I actually will probably or hopefully start reading So Strange Times today on the Kindle because I'm in between the Expanse books, so it's a good time. Shadow work and podcraft. So we did a lot of work last weekend on the podcraft setup. So we're cleaning and moving things around and getting that. It's going to take a little bit more work and a couple more items to get it set up, but we are working through that. And then our shadow work at this point, we keep mentioning or trying to do the work, but we have an inability to really go hard on it because every time we do, something is happening or things are happening. So just got to keep an eye on her. Hopefully she'll stay inside the fence. I think she will.
If not, she'll be getting me cross with her.
She would be crossed. But yeah, we keep talking about the shadow work. I'm like, I just don't even want to talk about it anymore. We just need to do the videos. And maybe we will get some of those in this week. But so much is going on, and so much good stuff is going on, so I can't really say much, right? Oh, ma petite, chill your buns. So, that being said, news. I printed news out, but yours didn't show up here at the top.
Well,
See? No, mine either. I went right in and just printed it, so it just didn't update yours.
maybe Universe said we shouldn't do that.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up in here though, because I'm in OneDrive. What is it called? I want to see if I can pull it up. I don't even remember what this is called. Oh, it's in 2PP. So we're gonna see if we can't find our other version. It's not updating for some reason. And I don't know why, but it happens sometimes. Yeah, see, it's not even on the shared one. So I don't know if your computer's disconnected or didn't save it, but it never made it to the one, or you are working off of a local copy, so you didn't put it on the shared one. So before we go into the news topic, because it's associated, for me, it's really associated with our main topic today. We'll talk real quick about the sun. We're currently still in Sagittarius. If you can't feel all the crazy, it's still there.
Hey, watch it. But it's true.
Yeah, I know. And we'll be in Sagittarius until December 22nd as we shift out at that moment. But that's where we are. So from the sun, the big magnanimous presentation of life, this is what the outward sees. This is what people see. We're in that jovial time. We're in that bright time. Now, keeping in mind that it is a mutable, which means a kind of an adjustable, malleable, adaptable version of the fire. So somebody needs to work on that.
Well, I am. I think there's a moon coming up Wednesday.
There is.
And I'm actually going to do a spell to awaken psychic abilities and connection by Matt Oren, Psychic Witch, with the phase of the moon. So
yeah, let's do it.
That's Wednesday. I'm not sure what is Wednesday.
We may decide to record that or share it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, so since you brought that up, I'm going to get there in a minute. But so right now, the way that I look at just a easy, basic astrological kind of content that helps me through my weeks and helps me stay on track and progress and process things is I look at the sun sign and I really just look at the moon and where it's transiting. The moon sign transits obviously very quickly through all of the zodiac, which, well, really vice versa, but for our perception, that's how it is. The sun, we know, is about 28 to 30 days, right? Because the sun is, you have the 30 days in Sagittarius, 30 days in Virgo, 30 days in Pisces coming, all that stuff. That's how that is. And then the moon is usually 2 to 3 days because the transitions sometimes happen in the daytime. We just can't see it because, the sun.
Hey, Zig!
So I like to look at where the sun sign is in Sagittarius. So we've got mutable fire as our big outward plan. So this is all adaptable by that sun sign. But then our moon sign today through Tuesday is in Taurus. So the idea is we still have the sun. We're still firing on Sagittarius. We have a lot of energy, a lot of creation. But Taurus is telling you to slow down a bit. Just through today through Tuesday, it's going to be very important to stay grounded because you might be able to get really into something and kind of lose track of everything else. But don't let the Sagittarius fire burn too fast.
We tend to do that.
Yes.
Hot, fat, jump fast, one thing to the next, quick, no resolution, no completion,
But if you have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with that Taurus moon energy, which is the underpinnings, then we can kind of pull back. It was like, okay, let me ground. I need to ground a little more than I maybe normally do. Maybe I need to throw in an extra meditation. Stop burning the fire so fast, at least through Tuesday, because then on Wednesday, Thursday, so kind of towards the end of the week, we go into Gemini moon. Still sun, Sagittarius, so mutable fire up here. But Gemini says, well, now on Wednesday and Thursday, this is your best time to get all of your thinking in. This is when you should listen to your intuition. It's like, okay, so I grounded myself Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. My fire is under control again. Now I'm going to throw this air in. It's time to spin it right back up. And now I'm going to do it thoughtfully. I'm going to process it energetically. So Wednesday, Thursday are your good days to do thoughtful things. Brain things, like really hardcore testing, energy. like organizational air energy is going to be Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, we're in Cancer. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be in Cancer. So this is going to be hard because the fire has spun us up, but we grounded in the beginning of the week. We put our brains back on track middle of the week. By the end of the week, we need to take back and look at all the emotions and the fulfillment of what we're doing. So it's going to be very easy to get blanked into, unfortunately, like into this other energy. So it's going to be crazy. You have to remember the weekend, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday is not going to be a grounding time period. It's going to be a surrounding time period. So this is, I can't explain it other way than if you have the ability to go into the beach, be in the beach. You need to be surrounded by something. So this is your Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is the time to wrap up in your weighted blanket. If you're in a cold area of the United States or wherever you are, let it be cold and wrap yourself up and get warm within what's around you. I hope to God she doesn't wrap around that computer. She's heading for it. Don't burn yourself. You got really close to that flame. Oh my God.
I'm a firemancer.
Yeah, not yet. You're about to light yourself on fire.
Okay.
But that's just so you kind of get an idea. There's no secret for the forecast that I do. You know, I look at where's the moon phase. We're in waxing gibbous. VG, stop.
The forest.
Just sniffing the camera if y'all saw that moving. That would be great too. If you're going in the forest, you want to be in a heavily forested area. Something that makes you feel enclosed. Because that's what Cancer wants to feel. They want to feel enveloped with all the energy that's happening. And that's going to feel good. And it's going to help you stay connected and stay true. Next full moon is the 8th, like you said.
Yes.
It's the cold moon.
I gotta stay up late that night.
The full long night's moon. Yep, we'll be up late that night. It'll be in Gemini, as we said. So our full moon, it's going to be something we're going to want to pay attention to. Next new moon is December 23rd, so right before Christmas.
Right after Yule. Is Yule the 21st? I can't remember. I need to look that up.
21st, 22nd, depends on the exact date of equinoxes and solstices. So yeah, here we go.
I will get refills as needed. Okay.
So, my kind of thought process with astrology isn't necessarily so much that they affect and like change how we do things, rather because as above, so below, as within, so without, because we're all connected and a part of the all. In my version of reality, and because every alternate universe might be alternate but still connected as part of the original and the all, I do believe those things mean something, and they can give us guidance on where we can place our energies in a proper manner, and proper being an effective manner for us. So it's just enjoyable to me to keep kind of on that track. I like processing things that way. So, let me put some more on here. I'm going to wait till Rook gets back to hit the main topic, which we're talking today about the aesthetic of witchcraft. It's an article I read. It's called The Aesthetics of Witchcraft and the Return of Real Magic. And it was in Pathos, which I generally enjoy Pathos articles. Sometimes they can get a little crazy, or they can kind of go a little off-center for what I'm really interested in. But this one was a good article. And it kind of is changing my personal perception a little bit, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I have changed my opinion, or I'm in current flux of changing my personal opinion and reaction to this this idea of aesthetic witchery, or witches who are just surface witches is what some people call it, or the witches of TikTok, the witch talker, those that are just liking the aesthetic of being a witch and they're not a true witch. Sorry, I got hiccups now, of course. And I air quote true witch because I don't think anybody has the right to call it that. We have a right to have an opinion about how we feel about those things, but I have a problem with some of that judgment. And that's what our topic is today. So we'll talk about the article first, and then we're going to have a discussion a little bit about that aesthetic, that idea, and how it's becoming such a mainstream thing. And I think, myself included, I feel a little some kind of way sometimes when I see somebody, well, I'm a witch, and they don't actually practice or do any of the things that I do, realizing and recognizing more and more so that, that's not really a good way to engage. Oh, VG. My poor dog. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm going to wait for Rook because I want him to hear kind of the article because there's going to be a lot of differing opinions. And I think it's going to be kind of interesting to kind of want to hear what those opinions are and what you guys think of those things. While we're waiting, I will share something that I made. And I do these a lot. Some of you are familiar with them. I call them spank bottles, and I think people laugh at me for calling them that, but that's what they are to me.
Bring out the riding crop.
You don't have a riding crop. You have a whip. You have a flogger.
I need a riding crop.
Those hurt.
Uh-oh.
Riding crops are very stiff and hard.
Oh. Cheers to that.
Not always great when you're hitting them. But anyway, so I like to make these. These bottles are very inexpensive. They are 1 milliliter bottles, and they're called spank bottles. I call them spank bottles because you turn them upside down. They have a little tiny hole in it, and you can smack them, and it gets out just the right amount of whatever you put in it. I like them because you can make these little blends and things and share them with other people, and they last forever. So it's kind of like the miniature version of a roller bottle, but without a roller. You have to kind of spank it. So I made a sun one earlier this year and shared that one. And it was basically made out of things that kind of had like almost a bubble gum, citrus, and really nice scent. It still holds up. And this one is a new scent that I put together, and it literally took 3 drops total of oil. It was black pepper, clove, and vetiver. Or vetiver. I don't know really honestly how to say it, but it's grass, basically, a grass oil. And it is so good. Like, see, watch. I can just spank. And
Might I smell a little? Thank you.
Oh, this is the sun
nice. One. Yeah, this is
This was
citrus.
the sun one. Yeah.
I
grabbed the wrong bottle, but regardless, this is the sun one. Still, again, we're in Sagittarius. We're in fire. It's appropriate. It's daytime. We're in the morning going into noon. That is the time of the spring. So that's where the sun's coming around. So, perfect. It's all about how you use it, yes.
Oh, and consent, yes.
I'll be honest.
I'd trust you.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No. Not with a crop. I mean, a crop will hurt. It'll leave a mark. Even if you do it lightly, I think I would accidentally leave a mark with a crop because I'm used to using a crop with a horse.
Oh.
And, I mean, I'll hit you like a horse then. I don't trust myself to know the right levels.
What you got there?
I'm just shuffling while we're talking.
Oh.
None of your business. All right. Just kidding. So the article that we're focused on today is... Yeah, but I just wouldn't... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't hit with a crop. Yeah.
I would not use a crop. The one that you have with like the 15 tails, that would be a much better option. The flogger, a true flogger. Probably not for him. No, I listened to him smack himself the other day with it. Cause anyway, the aesthetic of witchery.
Hey, I needed to be smacked.
Oh my god.
You have some too.
Oh, did I drop some?
You dropped 10 of 1s and Judgment.
I don't have any 1s.
Okay, the Judgment one needs to stay out because she keeps jumping. So you need to meditate and see what that message is.
Yeah, I need to judge you more about your 1s. So the cat of 9 tails. It looks like a cat of 9 tails, but it definitely has more than 9 tails.
Oh yeah.
I like the cat of 9 tails.
Ordered. I'm just kidding.
So, aesthetics of witchcraft. We've talked about this in other podcasts. We've talked about this in other things. And I have been pretty aggressive on my stance. And I'm softening that stance because I remember reminding myself that I too was once in that location, and maybe that's just where people are, and maybe we don't know better. She is wrapped around there and cannot move. That this dog. So in other words, she just lays down and starts eating gravel. That dog. So number one, there's been a significant.
No. You're very stupid.
You just call my dog stupid?
No, she's not very smart though.
Come over here, honey. She doesn't know. She's used to having a fence. Yeah. So yes, a huge increase in articles about the aesthetic of witchcraft, about like even mainstream, like NPR, BuzzFeed. There's been a lot of articles, and those articles are discussing witches, magic things that are less about the witches who cast circles, brews, potions, summon deity, that kind of stuff. But they're really adopters of like the mythos and the fashion of witchcraft without the magic or religious element. Which to me, my first response is judgment that, well, being a witch is about the magic, but then I have to remind myself I don't get to keep what that means for somebody else. Now, I do admit I'm still a little weirded out about like thinking, yeah, but I mean, are you really a witch? And being a little judgmental. I'm going to work through that. But the idea is a witch who says that they're a witch a witch if they don't do the witchy things that we come to think constitutes a witch?
Can I add something from yesterday? I think it ties into it maybe loosely. So for the first time in 5 years, we went to Barnes & Noble yesterday. We wanted to go to a bookstore. We wanted to be in that environment again. And I just have to tell you, a positive thing to me is they have a big section on the occult. It's a lot of Wicca, a lot of witchcraft. There's some druidry. There's some things thrown in. And I think that's so good for paganism, to be out in the mainstream like that. I was really hoping to find something I wanted to get. However, all of the books, like I felt just like shut off from them. All of the colors were bright, greens, reds, blues, purples, and it just didn't feel like anything I wanted to get. They have a big tarot section, so it was too colorful, too bright.
Right.
But I will say that I'm glad that that presence is there, right? For maybe people that don't live near, maybe all they have is a Barnes and Noble, or maybe they don't have a credit card to go on to Amazon and get books.
Yeah, or who says that at age 40 you don't get to go in and get a bright book and learn something and talk to people? Maybe there's nobody to talk to.
There was a bright red book that I would probably get, Kitchen Witchery, recipes for the witch in the kitchen, but it was just something about it. I felt
the environment felt wrong too to me.
The environment felt wrong to me, but also I have like probably 100 books I haven't read, so I had no business buying a book. But I'm glad that it's out in a mainstream store.
I am too.
Whatever form that takes, if it's metaphysical, modern, okay. But
I don't want to water down anybody's message, for lack of a better phrase that I really wish I don't need to use.
Oh yeah, I'd never want to do that.
But the idea that I get to tell somebody else what their right practice is very, very poor taste to me.
What?
So
Tractor Supply?
Oh, sorry. Dragon Dancer said Tractor Supply has Oracle decks. Okay, sorry.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, it does. If you look at it from a perspective of like Almanac, Farmer's Almanac, and all that kind of stuff, that makes sense. But what I'm trying to get at, and what I want I'm trying to get the conversation direction to go is the idea that just that I can. There are. I don't even know how to really get into it because it just doesn't. It's hard to convey what I'm thinking, and I think other people are thinking also. Thank you, Dragon Dance. That's a great place to start. So everybody does start somewhere, and maybe people want the aesthetic, and that is okay. And I can say, hey, you're the aesthetic version. You like the witchcraft aesthetic, and you like the lore, but you don't practice magic. If you're calling yourself a witch, I don't think that's the same thing. But I'm certainly not going to tell you you can or can't. And I think we get into a mindset of thinking that we have the need to express to them from a place of hubris, even if it's good natured, that no, you're new, honey. Read the book, but you're not a witch yet. Let me tell you how to be a witch, right? Let me show you how magic works, and that's not how it's supposed to be, from my opinion. And so I get the idea that sometimes people are judging, myself included, judging other people based on how they choose to practice. And I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place of thinking, you can't always just say, and this is something, I mean, even Malice has said this to me a couple times, and other people, you can't always be on the fence, like just in the middle. I'm like, but yeah, you can, because I recognize that I'm not their life. I'm mine. I'm my all. We're all in the same thing together. If that's how they want to practice, that's great. Now, if I see somebody practicing and I say, hey, you're doing your thing, and it's surface witchery. I don't want to call it that, but that's what people have coined it, where they're just skating on the surface. And if that's good for you, great. But if it's not, and you want to do a little bit more, let me know. I'd be more than interested to kind of talking about that. And coming from, I think we need to change our perspective of where we're coming from, so that we're not judging people for being superficial in some cases, because maybe that's just where they are.
And in this crazy,
there's enough
modern,
problem.
Disconnected from Earth and Mother Nature world, maybe that's the way that people start the connection, right? I mean, this world is completely disconnected.
Yeah. A little tree sap, very good point. I'm not the ultimate authority of witchcraft. I'm not a pope. I am the only authority of me and my craft. Absolutely 100%.
Hey, Jockster!
By 10,000%. And then Scarlet, I think that's a big part of it in my brain too. Like, my problem now is I feel like I've been so Switzerland on everything that people are starting to think I don't have an opinion. I have very strong opinions, but I recognize that they're mine.
You don't have the right to inform someone else's practice or direct someone or criticize someone else's practice.
I have the right to inform you of my opinion, and you have the right to tell me to fuck off.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
And so if I feel strongly about something, I need to back off a little bit more and not have that kind of a response in that part of it. And I think that's really important. It's gatekeeping for sure. And I think gatekeeping can be thrown around a bit much, but I think there's a shit ton of gatekeeping happening. You know? And
yeah. Well, we saw one, like, a couple months, 2 or 3 months ago on a YouTube video where they actually put some thumbs down or something on ours, but they were like, oh, well, that's not the way to criticize some people. All these witches, they call themselves witches for anything, and da-da-da, and that's horrible. That's not a way to get people interested in the occult.
It was kind of our thing of saying that it was taken as we kind of said anything goes.
Oh.
And it's not that anything goes, it's that I have no right to tell you how it should go. It's not a right. I have the capability of sharing with you and communicating with you how it goes. But getting angry or frustrated about how you're practicing is not something that I think we should involve ourselves or engage in too much. Now, when we see active harming, because that's a left-hand path principle, you see active injustice, you should speak up for that if you can. Right. And I agree with that. But practicing and not harming anybody, and that's not the same thing. This is not an LFM topic, by the way. I feel completely different about that in some cases because there's some active harming in that.
Yeah, Scarlett had a good point. This is a trauma response. Is it let me teach you the proper mechanics of the particular technique, like to go in. I think that's, like you said, if you see something, to say something, and but then I have the choice to tell you to fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's I want to spend. And like I said in the beginning of this, my mindset is changing on this a bit because I am what is the word? I am self-deprecating or doubting my stance on things because other people are telling me I'm too wishy-washy. I'm like, it's not wishy-washy. I don't have to explain to you what it is for me. I know my practice. I'm comfortable with my practice. I'm learning a ton about myself and my practice. But I just don't think we should spend a lot of energy telling people they're wrong. But we could be open and offer a platform where they can choose to come on board.
Because if you remember, I was told that 5 months ago.
I know, and it pissed me off.
By
And I don't-
tradition that. So I've always
Should be
wanted to be
open.
part of a coven group, etc. Path learning, and I did one that was a Celtic. You know, that was recommended by a friend, a very good lady. And I'm not going to belabor it, but they were asking for people to volunteer to write a ritual. Well, I said nobody was doing it. I want to do that. And by the way, that was one of the most awesome experiences I've had, you know, in the past several years, was writing that ritual.
Yeah.
And then when I presented it, I was so proud of it. And when I presented it, I was told, that's wrong. That's not how you do it. We don't do that here. Da da da. And so
That was the end of that group.
you don't want to, when you're providing feedback, you can correct people, but I think there's a way. Don't say that we're very free with how you write your rituals or whatever the practice is, and then say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of how I work. Like at my job, when an employee does something that I don't like or I wouldn't have done, I don't go and tell them, you're wrong for what you did. I go and say, hey, I would have handled this differently. Tell me why you chose this route. And they get defensive and like, well, I chose this because, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I agree with you because you made the best decision you had with the information that you had on hand. Here's what I would have done differently and why. Because we're all adults and we're all professionals, and most of them know more than I'll ever know, right? There have been nurses for as long as I've been alive. We've got one of my employees started when I was 2 years old and has been doing this since I was 2. You think that I'm going to tell them how to do their job? They're going to tell me how to do mine, right? And so, but I don't necessarily carry that thought, and I feel good about that. That makes me feel good inside that I'm capable of doing that. Makes me feel good that my team tells me, you are the best boss I've ever worked for, not because you're easy, but because you let us be who we are, and you let us grow within our confines. You give us bumpers, and we work within the bumpers until we can take the bumpers off. Yet when it comes to my practice and talking about these conversations that are tough, I back out of them because people see me as either having hubris or not having a true opinion. But I just believe that I can share my opinion, but I just have to have that allowance space. And I've been told by quite a few people that that's just, you know, we don't have to allow. You certainly fucking don't, but I do. In order for me to feel healthy, and even on my practice, I have to allow for other people to feel completely different. And now, with talking with Scarlett and having last night's conversation, and with reading Polyvagal and paying more attention to exercises in Left Hand Path, the Uncle Setnack's guide, I'm learning that is my way. And I can actually stop feeling guilty that other people think that I don't have an opinion, because I don't give a fuck. Well, I do. That's the whole thing. But that's where I'm coming from with this. It's changing, and I want to share things with people, and I want to engage people, right? And I want to hear more about what other people are doing. But I want to stop telling them that they're wrong, and I don't do that, but I have to set I act like I'm good at setting boundaries, and sometimes I am. There are certain specific things that I am good at, but there is one thing that I'm not good at setting a boundary for, and that is I will absolutely doormat myself when it comes to occult discussions, because I don't feel that it's just even, at some point I just don't even want to talk about my opinion anymore, because people think that just because I'm asking a question or saying it, that's how I feel. It's not true.
Right, Dragon.
I ask it because I want to hear what other people think. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's like Left Hand Path. I don't say I'm Left Hand Path. I would say I function in the left-hand path. Like, that seems to be my driving force lately, but I don't want to call it that because that's not just the thing. And so people see it as, I don't know. It's I can drone on about it, and I'm going to stop, but the real big part of it is I feel like I'm changing my opinion a little bit, and it's in a positive way of, like, I don't have to be mad that there is a witch that only cares about looking like the aesthetic, because that's them. That doesn't affect my practice.
You know, there was a Facebook meme, it's probably around years, but it's recirculated lately, that says Becky thinks she's a witch because she bought sage at the local metaphysical or something like that. It's like, well, if that's what it is to her, or if that's her gateway or introduction,
yeah. And what does that mean
do?
It keeps people from even wanting to talk about it.
Right. Like a shop owner that we know and love, but was so negative. Like she would, she would say, on one of her Facebook, ask questions, any question, and everybody's like, no, we don't want
What?
to ask a question. She's like, no, ask a question.
She went live and had people ask a question, and the first question, you can't ask that question. What do you think I am? I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, that's fucking stupid. You can't do that.
I'm like, oh god.
You don't want to, like, there's enough, like I said the other day, I think Friday, we are stripped of magic from so early on when we're kids. You don't want to strip the magic from people, whatever that is.
Nope. It's the same thing that I've been saying to you in our relationship is growing as we grow older. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The singing in the morning irritates the shit out of me.
I love to sing
But
in
if
the morning.
the thing that has changed in the last 6 months in my head is, oh my God, if I woke up one morning and you didn't, and I'm the reason that you stopped, that would kill me. That
Dream
would be
crusher.
the worst thing ever. You're an asshole.
Heart crusher.
But seriously, like who would want to stamp out that kind of positive and high and good energy just because I'm not aligned with it? That's my problem. I need to be aligned better and more energetic at certain times and grow. That's not somebody else. And exactly, Tree Sap, that's
don't
the
dim
thing.
somebody's light.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't extinguish somebody's lamp.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said in all of the discussion of live and let live, reduce your judgment, be open and share, but don't push. Like, I don't know. There's still, it's not like you have to lay down and say, oh, just, you don't say anything because somebody has to speak up, because that's not an injustice. Becky is buying the sage. Let her buy the fucking sage. If she wants to call herself a witch, she's a witch. That is not for us to talk about. And that was one of the things in the article that I really liked. And I actually can link the article for you guys if you want. It's nobody owns witchcraft. No matter how much work we do, it's about us, not them. We are changing our internal life to be as above, so below. They're part of the as above, so below because they're part of the universe and most witches' thought process. So they're on maybe they are the most loving hospice nurse and they help people transition all the time, but they don't understand witch the same way that I do, and I'm going to be mad at Becky because she has sage. But Becky goes every day and sees 8 hospice patients and helps them transition as they're dying, right? Like, that is the thing that's like...
It's people magic.
That's what I have to change in my brain, and I have to not let other people goad me or push me into that conversation, no matter how bad they think it is, or how wishy-washy, or how Sweden or mediated I am. I have very strong, passionate responses, but they are mine and they affect me. And I don't want to go out and extinguish Becky's light because I want her still helping those patients transition.
Because that Becky is providing healing and magic to those people passing
in a way
their
that I
families.
can't. A way that I can't do it.
I could not do hospice.
You know?
I could not have all of my patients die, for sure, for certain, almost 100%. That would be tough. I can't imagine doing that. So thankful for Becky if that's what helps her do it.
You know what? And if Becky doesn't have anything that rings like that to me, yet she is not hurting anybody, good for you, Becky. Get your sage. I hope nobody here is named Becky because it sounds really rude. But that's the point. That's what the article was trying to talk about, which I liked. Becky. One of the other things, and I think this is where there's some confusion. This is where I think we get some of the off-putting stuff.
Oh.
And that is, I know, that is the comment, and this is again in the article. It says often, and I'm paraphrasing, often, and this actually funny. I should say this. I think it was Lil Tree Sap that was talking about it was apocalyptic witchcraft, right? It just so happens that this article I'm reading quoted apocalyptic witchcraft, and it was a very good quote. Often the recourse of the dispossessed is what witchcraft is, right? So in the article, it talks about this is just a really neat idea to me. You talk about, or they talk about going back in time. In the community, whatever the small little village that they had, there was a healer, and maybe it wasn't the same as the witch, but the healer couldn't heal, and all these things happened. Where do you go? You have what is your last ditch effort? The witch. The last ditch effort is the healer, the shaman, the person, and that is where the discourse, the occult people go. It's the dispossession. It's what we are when we are not engaged in the society the way people think we are. So again, my group, LGBTQ, we were the outcasts at school, the goth kids, all those outcast people. are the people that are still running through the tattoo and the occult seal and all those fringe, which I do consider them fringe, even though it's going mainstream. But that's where they go. So let them go. Let them be there. Let them have that comfort. But unfortunately, what happens is they turn to that fringe or that outcast, and that's what we do, and that's why there's so many, so much trauma, so much depression, so much mental illness, because those individuals have been shunned, and it's the occult team, the occult groups, the pagan, the left-hand path that accepts them in. If we go down the route of it's a war, or we're fighting, or we've got to stand up and tell Becky that she's wrong, then we're not going to be that for them, and that we have to be that. I love being friends. Like, that has been the story of my life. I tried not being friends for a while, and it was very noticeable, by the way. But anyway, it was a great article on Pathos. If you have or go to Pathos, it's free. And just look up the aesthetics of witchcraft and return of real magic, and you'll get that that article. But it made me want to talk about that whole thing of I can find myself getting wrapped up in things that I would not done normally because of kind of like a group mentality thing. And I will doormat myself, meaning I will push away my own opinions and thoughts in order to not water down or manage somebody else's message. And I don't give a fuck anymore. That is going to be something that I will actively be working on not doing.
And I have a problem with not doing it in an effort to be polite.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But I mean, there's something to say when it keeps coming up. I don't think I'm an impolite person, or that you're an impolite person. So, telling somebody, wait, I don't really see, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's impolite.
It's not. My problem is I have a processing brain. If I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, then I have a hard time responding. So nursing, absolutely. I'll get it in just a second. Nursing, clinical, medical, you ask me, I will answer. I've got it in my head. I will direct you to the right place if I don't know. I'm comfortable saying I don't know. It's so easy. Occult, there are so many things, and I don't feel that anybody is a true authority, no matter how good they are in their area. They might be authority on a thing or something that they do, but ultimately, nobody is a true authority on what the right thing is, because that just doesn't exist. Do not eat a cigarette butt, please.
Paranormal
Fiji.
Witch,
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's projected a lot, like in movies and stuff, the wrong way. And then even on my favorite channel, I'm hooked and addicted. Not so much lately, but for years on ID. And they always say, oh, in those murder shows, that was a witch. Yeah. He was involved in the occult.
I think the take-home message really is, in my opinion, we have to live and let live. We have to allow people to do whatever it is they want to do, however they want to do it, as long as it does not actively harm another person
or an animal,
child, or an animal.
I cannot do it.
But see, here's the thing in that. Beef stew.
That harms an animal.
Harms an animal. True. So it's not as cut and dry as we want it to be.
Right.
But the idea is there. Abuse of an animal, torturing of an animal, torturing of a kid, torturing of a person. The thing is, the live and let live thing is not 100% live and let live when I say it. What I mean is, we should not have a goal of proving our point or changing somebody else's mindset. We should have a goal of presenting ourselves how we feel fit, how we enjoy learning from others, and then offering to be able to teach others if they were willing to listen. And that is one of the things that I really respect Scarlett for, just to set up and share knowledge. Shouldn't have to do that. People charge for that shit, just to share knowledge, because it's going to positively impact the group. That's it. That's the goal. And I'm sure it reinforces it for you too, but that is such an important thing in the occult that we need to do more of. And I'm going to do more of that by not talking about the aesthetic of witchery being a bad thing, if that's where you are, or not saying if Becky got sage, hey Becky, I can teach you how to use that sage,
or witch talk, or whatever.
If Becky calls it an appropriational name, for example, if she's like, I'm smudging my house, I may say, hey, look, just so you know, since we're not of Indian background, you may not want to use that. You do what you want, but I call it cleansing with smoke because I don't know the smudging actual Cherokee practice or whatever. I don't know enough about it, but that's the point, right? We don't know enough about it. We don't know enough. Just share stuff, talk about stuff. Don't be a dick and don't fucking judge people unless they're actively harming condition. Now, I will throw in there, and I'm word vomiting now. As far as LFM is concerned, I was very clear with multiple people that I do not have the desire to do reaction videos to people that are negative. That's just not my thing. I will see it. I can talk against it. I do believe that she is misguided and misguiding multiple people, which I do consider as harmful. So it doesn't bother me as much. I just don't want to participate in some of those things. So
But don't talk shit about her.
Yeah.
Maybe light a candle for her.
yeah. Now I will say there's been opportunity, an option to try to have a conversation. Look what fell out.
Again, okay, the judgment card you've been shuffling for 30 minutes.
Asperging, I like that.
3 times the judgment card is coming out. We need to
that one's
investigate
staying
that.
out.
Yeah.
And I just was shuffling like third time.
If it's meant to be, it will be. She keeps coming. Judgment.
Let me get this.
Appropriate to the topic. Why are we judging?
Let me get this thing. So if you have not gone to Pathos, Pathos is free. I do highly recommend that you support them because they have some really good articles.
Asperging. Cool.
They're not extremely often, but they do put out some really good articles and they don't charge. So Pathos, pretty good. Now there is a lot of Christian stuff on there, so if that's a problem for you, you should be aware of that. But that's not the only thing. They hit all kinds of topics. I am going to go ahead and post in Discord real quick. I want to not forget this link so that you guys can access. It's a long link, but that will take you to it in the Pondering Pagans Discord. So, I think that's like the mindset that I'm trying to bring to the table, and I have to work on it. A lot, and it's going to take me some time, and I'm going to have to work through it. That's just how it is. It's just how it's going to be. I apologize that I'm a little distracted in some things too. I'm on call, and so sorry, we're going through some very significant work changes, and I have an employee that may find themselves jobless, and I'm trying to coordinate an interview for them. And I don't want to. Okay. I don't want to miss this opportunity because I don't want to miss the opportunity.
Is that my person or a different one? Call it my person.
Yes.
Oh.
What is the best time? The Monday. Sorry, guys. Monday.
We work for the same company, by the way.
Interview is being.
I was at for 5 years and then left to do other things. Came back in August and then found out we're being sold. So I'm gonna need to do a reading on myself to figure out what I should do. Do I stay to see who the new owner is, or do I go back to an opportunity I have for actually where I learned a brutal lesson with ignorance, trying to work with the Fae, but I manifested what I wanted, but it was miserable for 2 years, so I'm gonna have to pull some cards on that and listen to them.
I will tell you this, I will not commit to anything, but at some point, we all are meeting in some place.
We are all gonna meet up somewhere one day.
It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. Like that's just what's gonna happen. Because
you have to.
Yeah, for sure. Because
you guys all have provided such a sense of community for me personally, and that's just what you all have no idea what the interactions have meant to me personally. Over the past couple years.
Yeah, same.
When COVID and all the craziness and now all the craziness has happened, I think that's magic. I call it people magic. It may sound funny or base, but it's meaningful to me.
Like, I will tell you, the most important possession that I have, period, is this iPad, because it allows me that connection to continue with the group. And if everything else failed, this is exactly where we'll be. I'm just saying, it's something else.
Yes.
So, any comments?
I would love to go to California.
I would too. Haven't been in forever. Last place I was in California was San Diego.
I lived in. Don't judge me, y'all. I say San Diego, but it's really the outskirts. I lived in National City, Chula Vista area in 1998 to 2000. I think California is beautiful.
I was in high school.
It was actually the first place I lived, and a lady that I worked with, and I thought she was weird at the time, was talking about the energy of people and places and situations, and she wasn't so weird after all.
I don't want to go too far into this because I don't know what's going to happen, but little tree sap, just for the record, my organization used to operate in Texas, and we sold all of our Texas buildings, but we still have a ton of our other style buildings, which may become my new charge.
Little tree sap.
If those new buildings become mine, I will be in San Antonio. I will be in Dallas. I will be in pretty much all the major cities. In Texas, Houston, we have buildings in all those areas. So if I get what I think is going to happen, I will be traveling to those areas a lot.
I'm planning a Texas trip because it's where I'm from, born and raised. February, March time frame next year. So there's definitely couple people I would love to meet up with and have dinner there.
Like, I literally would, like,
little tree sap
and like, we all go get coffee and none of us would be talking because we're all gonna be reading. Like, just in the room together.
I think we'd be talking.
We would. I'm just saying. Yeah. Mike's right there.
Oh.
So yes, it'll be fun. I will know somewhere probably mid next year how and if that's gonna actually happen and how it's gonna go. So I hope it does because it's gonna be a new foray for me, something brand new. Miss Cauldron Witch.
I will.
Miss Cauldron Witch did a tarot reading for me and was very clear that she thought I was going to be walking away from something, and I am. She's absolutely right. It was her readings have been on point every time, by the way. So if you haven't, you should get a reading by Cauldron Witch on IG.
At 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Something like that. 1 p.m. Eastern. She's amazing. Very good. And but anyway, so then that's what's happening. It's not even walking away. It's a complete and utter change. And I'm so excited if we're going to do that. So, but I will let you know because I will be traveling all across the country if that's the case. And I'm pretty hopeful, I should say. Not sure, but pretty hopeful that that'll be my new charge. If not, we'll figure something out. But if it is, we'll be good. So, any other comments? Like, we really are trying to push in a direction of having more people come in and engage with us in their respective, system or process of paganism. So, if anybody that's in the chat would like to come on the show, again, we're not doing interviews. We're not going to have guests on the show. Not meaning that people aren't coming on, but we're not going to seek out guests. What we are going to do is offer, if anybody in the chat ever wants to come on video or audio, you just tell us and we're going to put you a place at the table and we'll bring you in. I have been learning so much from this group. I just can't even begin to tell you how exciting that is. But anybody have anything else on this aesthetics of witchcraft? Any ideas or thoughts? I mean, we have a really good conversation in chat, so I appreciate that. Before we move into tarot, and then we got to get to our little procession and burial of my buddy, Jakey Lou, who I actually got just before the relationship I was in prior to Rook. Don't let him know. I'm just kidding. So Jake is actually named after my ex. When we were together, we got Jake. My ex, who, by the way, is still a friend, and we actually still hang out with. He's still come over a few times, stayed the night. We are really good. I wouldn't say really good friends because they live in North Carolina. It's kind of a hike. But that just goes to show, just because things don't work out. Yes, and Dragon Dancer, everybody's always welcome. Not 100% sure how we're going to do it if it's remote. I think we can work it through Discord and just give a little face. But if that's ever an option too, I know it's a little bit of a hike for you two to come out here. But yeah. So give Rook just a few more minutes to get back out here. And we are going to start tarot. Who would like a reading? I would say I'm friends with maybe 2 or 3 of my exes. The rest of them I'm friendly with, but we don't really stay in a lot of contact, just because they've kind of spread out and kind of moved all over the world. The one other long relationship I had was not a positive one. That is the only person that I'm not still friends with. Unexplained. Melvin, you missed Brad gushing about you. Rook, Brad, same person if anybody wants to know. Sorry, I've got a list. We got Scarlet. We've got Jockster, Dragon, Para, Normal, Ziggy. Lots of people on this podcast reading your book there, Mr. Unexplained Possibilities. Rook, I think, is in the 3rd or 4th chapter. I finished The Expanse today, so I am going to be starting this afternoon. And then we're going to have to do a review, I think. One of our Sundays is going to have to be a review. We're going to have to make it uncomfortable. Tree sap, little tree sap. All right, so I don't want to miss anybody. I've got Scarlet, Jockster, Dragon, Paranormal, Ziggy, Little Tree Sap. Mr. Unexplained Possibilities has joined and is in there.
Melvin! All hail Melvin!
You have problems, sir. I just can't get over the cover art.
Oh my God. So I said earlier, I've met Lex, I've met Celine, I've met Lambia. I lost track of time reading this, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. I'm going to start it today when you're driving.
It was like in a trance state reading. So I like this. I'm going to finish this book this week. I can already tell you.
I cannot tell you how jealous I am. That's how we start, and how I don't get the right to be proud because, I just don't. But just to see that you have manifested is very, what's the word? Encouraging.
It's exciting.
It's more than it's encouraging. There's another word I'm looking for. I've had too much bubbly.
Well, I can tell you, this book and the study group last night have really turned my outlook around. I hate this time of year, and these were just 2 gifts that were just awesome.
I am, and encouraged isn't the word either, but just ultimately, just being able to see that you have manifested and made that happen. I'm in awe.
Yeah.
Jealousy,
cool.
Definitely. I'm not going to lie. There's some jealousy in there. I've been wanting to write a book forever. I have no clue. I probably never will because I don't know what it would be on. Granted, we have a grimoire I'm putting together that's many pages.
To me, it's a lesson in shut the fuck up and what have you manifested lately?
Shut up and do.
Shut the fuck up and do it. Right?
Put that on a t-shirt.
Shut the fuck up and do it.
Yeah.
And it also has a magical context because I do believe that, personally, if I'm working on something, a spell or working, I don't talk about it until it's manifested. And this kind of goes back to that. Don't talk about it, do it. Don't talk about it, do it. Do it.
Satisfying isn't the word, Little Tree Step. It's some word along the lines of encouragement that is it's that feeling of awe with a little bit of hope and a little bit of you really can do whatever the fuck you want to do if you want to do it.
Awin? Inspiration?
It's Awin. It's definitely Awin. It's definitely inspirational for sure. These last couple of months, just with everything that's been happening and the engagement from you guys is insane.
Yeah, I love, And
If
I've
we're
said
pushing
it.
closer to doing what we've been planning for the last 5 years, we're gonna fucking do it.
We're gonna fucking shut it the fuck up and do it.
Just
And
gotta save a little more money first to get the roof fixed.
It's
Then Virgo will do it.
that like last week when I said my favorite part of the whole thing is to do shout outs to everybody. It's because of what you've all given to me in Awen, inspiration, transformation, community.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's inspirational for sure.
I can't even tell you. But I can just say
Inspirational for
thank
sure.
you.
So we're moving into tarot. So far we've got Scarlet, Joxer, Dragon, Paranormal, Ziggy, Little Tree Step in that order. If you have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat so I can write it on there instead of waiting, because we're going to run right through these.
We got to go bury a cat.
Yeah, we got to go bury Jakey Lou.
Our little cat died this morning or early this morning, and we're going to go bury him on our land. So we got to give him a good burial and send off. I think this means that you judge me too much and are too critical of me.
I am critical of you.
Extremely.
I don't judge you, though, for it. We'll play an exercise. Think back on the things I've been critical and tell me if they haven't. I don't. So one thing I do need to not do is it's not my personality. It's not my right to grow you or judge you or make you something that you're not. But according to your mom, I've done a good job. Let's just say.
Smash them and clap for your damn self. Yeah.
Yep.
And clap for others too, right?
Yes.
Clap for others too.
Just clap. Not the chlamydia clap. I mean, if you want to. I mean, that you're having a good time. You just need antibiotics.
Okay. I did not see that going that direction, but yeah.
Yeah, he was old. I don't think he was in pain, but he probably had, I'm thinking he probably had some kind of stomach cancer and dementia.
Yeah, dementia.
He would forget that he was eating, and then you took him back to his bones, like, oh my God, there's food. And he'd eat again, and then he'd be like, oh, where's the food? And you'd say, oh, there's food.
And then I'd put food down for him, and he'd bite me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't, and his eyesight was bad, but
Yeah.
He has been over multiple states with me, multiple relationships.
5 hurricanes, 3 at least in Virginia,
Yeah.
2 in Florida.
Yeah.
He's moved from 2 apartments and 3 apartments, 3 houses.
More than that, because I had him before you.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
I had him before you. He's the long term.
Gonna be a husband.
Okay. I'll be a husband with some bubbly. But seriously, yeah, it's weird because I don't feel like emotionally sad that he's gone, because I know he was probably, there was some element of suffering. He couldn't get satisfied with food. Like, he was starving all the time. Not really much we could do for him. I don't think he was in pain, but I think he's better now. He really didn't have a lot of quality of life at this point, and we were really considering. What?
I need to cleanse these.
Oh.
You know, another thing.
Yeah.
So it could be going.
We have he's been through a lot, like, yeah. And just this last year he's really declined, so I am glad that he is not in an issue. You know, right now the emotion I'm having is I could have done better, I could have done different, I could have spent more time with him. But I'm going to feel that for a minute, because he has been there through some shit for me. And we are going to go give him a good burial. I have a where's the lighter? Oh, got it. I have a problem with delayed reactions to this kind of stuff. I compartmentalize very well. And it will hit me like a week from now. Let's see, my grandmother, when I started crying finally from it, was a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and I lost it. So I know there will be a little bit of a delay, but he was a good cat. He kept to himself. He was fun. He had his little thing, and now I want a new black cat.
I know, me too. But after appropriate grieving.
Yeah, no, I'm not going out right now. All right. That was sad.
Yeah.
He was a good cat too. He didn't
was a good kitty cat.
tear up stuff. Well, yeah, he did. That's a lot.
But I mean, he was a good cat.
My Jakey Lou.
He was sweet.
So again, let's see. I see no questions. We're gonna do generals if we don't hear of any questions. So we'll do that.
I want this
let
piercing.
me-
You think Snake Eyes tongue piercing?
No.
No?
I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want.
You don't like it?
I like it. I just think that that's not necessary. I need settings here. And we'll get started in just a moment. I'm reconnecting to my speaker here. And if I can't, then we may just let it play there.
All right.
So this is Herknungur again in the background. The Fornland album. It's a 30-minute album. It is free. You can listen to him. Also check him out if you like, especially the Norse vibe or Slavic vibes. Also has a live channel that is a broadcast 24/7. It's really good. You cannot use that on stream though because that's not his music. It's everybody's mix of music, but his music you can use for free if you use it on anything. Just give him credit, as you will see in our opening and in our closing. But donate. Artists make stuff for free that we can use. They deserve to be compensated for the use.
Yeah, and if you get a book, it really helps. One thing I learned this week, and I'm going to do, if you get a book you like, go on Amazon or wherever and do a review for the book.
Please.
You know, like, I know for sure if I get recommended a book, I go down there and scroll down to the bottom to the reviews and read it, and it oftentimes helps me determine if I'm going to buy the book or not. So I think that's really important that we promote and review, you know, things that that we find helpful.
All right, we're going to get a lot of smoke here. We're going to cleanse our deck. That's the delay. I
Alright.
apologize.
Sorry, I just haven't used these cards before. I'm using the Celtic Book of the Dead by Caitlin Matthews. It's an oracle deck.
This is the deck that Joy always talks about, and it is a gorgeous deck, and it is a second reprint because she, the old one, she went out of print, and she's like, oh, people want it, we're going to do it again. So, Scarlett, you are up first. We're going to do a
Scarlett.
2-card pull general for you. Let's knock off some energy.
Yeah, I haven't used these. I want any energy from the manufacturer or handling of them on there.
Today I am using my personal deck. So this is the Steampunk Tarot. This is my main deck. This is the deck that gets beat the hell up because it is the one that speaks to me and tells me the truth at all times and is really good. It is by far my favorite deck. And it is the deck I use for all of my self-reads and all of my personal reads. Did a read yesterday at the cigar bar. That was fun. It would be nice to sit in that corner and just have people come by and say, hey, can you do me? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Can you do a read?
I don't charge for any reads. If anybody does want to read, by the way, a long-term one, like a long one, we can do it on Discord, or I can send you a YouTube video privately that you can read. So that's up to you. Just for the record, no charge. I just don't charge for this stuff. I charge enough for my healing touch.
Hey, Steph. Good morning.
Woo-hoo.
You're not late. It's early for you.
Hey, Steph, if you don't mind,
It's early for you.
what time do you go live with your tarot? And if you want to link anything, please be our guest to do so.
Link it up, darling. Is it 1 p.m. Eastern time?
I talked
So
about you
10
earlier, by the way.
California time?
I was talking about you earlier, Steph. You have done 2 tarot reads for me, and both of them have been absolutely 100% on point. And I don't say that much about many tarot readers, but I mean seriously on point to where I said, to Rook, oh wow, she's really wrong on that one. That makes no sense. And literally, like
That was
a
2
week-
months ago.
Yeah, literally, it's
Before
exactly
the-
what's happening.
It's literally exactly what's happening. Hello.
So, you guys want to read? That's the place to go. But Scarlet,
Ooh.
let's see what Steampunk has to say.
10 a.m. California time.
Which should be
Woo
3
woo.
hours, so yeah, it should be 1.
So it's 1 Eastern time. If any of you are on Eastern time, you got to check it out.
Scarlet's first card, and we don't have our setup here. And then, wow, that's way too far, isn't it? I wonder if I
I'll
can...
go up and show it. Hold
No,
on.
hold on. Let's see. We can work magic here, right? Let's see how far this will zoom.
Will it zoom? Huh. Them cars don't lie. And Stephanie's very
So
gifted.
it's on your side. There
I'll
you
walk
go.
it up there. Hold on. What Scarlet need to know? The Queen Scarlet. I'll
If
walk
you
it up
and then I put it backwards. Look at that. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but you guys can see Ace of Swords there is Scarlet's first card. So the Ace of Swords is the raw energy of swords, of air, of all of the things that are magically related to our intuition and our thought. Let me back it up a little bit. There you go. And the thing I always mention with aces is it is the full embodiment of all the energy. The ace holds the energy of the ace through the king, all of it. But it's raw. It's not necessarily formulated. So when the Ace of Swords shows up, it usually means that you've got a decision to make, but you don't know the answer yet. One thing to remember is that a sword, a really sharp sword, can do a lot of things. It can cut you and kill you, or it can cut off the excess so that you can grow and rebirth. So it's really important when the Ace of Swords shows up that you pay attention to those things around you that are of the mind field. You're getting way too close to that flame. Makes me nervous.
I'm connected to fire.
Yeah, I see that. You're about to light your head on fire. And you don't want to burn off the hair that you have.
Oh, ouch. Bitch.
So the Ace of Swords is telling you that there's some decisions you need to make. I think that these decisions are going to be altered by whatever card Rook pulls, but I get the feeling that it is a decision to limit your mind, your brain time. So setting aside some energy in place just for you to think through things, just for you to zen out. Because the Ace of Swords is a mind card. It's the air, it's the intuition, the brain, the thought, the logic, the process, right? And the Ace is literally like raw energy. Maybe we need to back up a little bit and just take a break and set aside some time where our brain does not have to think for a minute. And we'll see what Rook pulls from the Celtic Book of the Dead and see how that alters the Ace.
The Celtic Book of the Dead has for you Queen Scarlet, Island of Joy. The lot of exploring the island of rejoicing people falls on the third foster brother, who immediately joins the inhabitants in laughing and playing so much that they leave him there. This card signals a joyful time, usually in the company of others. What would bring joy to your heart in this matter? How can you open your heart? What do I need to be aware of during this time? Everyone is there to have a lovely time, but something is going to become very clear, and there could be trouble if someone takes offense. Did you show the card?
I did. So you throw the Island of Joy alongside, which is a numerological 3, alongside of
Reconciliation
a 1.
and freedom. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you reading?
Oh.
Another card?
Nope.
That's 32.
Oh. Joyful time, especially in the company of others. Yes, go
Just
ahead.
checking. So
Too much bubbless.
So obviously the Island of Joy will, anything in a read is going to alter the meaning of the Ace of Swords, even more so to spend some mind joy. So again, for me, it's starting the fiction books again. I haven't read fiction in years, and putting that fiction book back in the rotation of the things that I'm reading, it has given me so much excitement and joy and brain relaxation. My brain is in so much better place now. My imagination's firing. That might be something that you're going to benefit from with the Ace of Swords if you cut up and set a section of time for yourself where your brain can do what it wants to do, the fun stuff, the enjoyable stuff.
Or she's giving a benefit to others.
Well, she is giving a benefit to others,
Definitely.
but too much of it. The Ace of Swords, when you get it, like the raw energy of air in the sword is the need to either excise something or cut it out, right? So that cutout is a space of time for you in general. Now, on a whole nother level of things that just bumped into my mind, for the first time in, I would say, 10 years, I was driving back when I was in Georgia to the airport, And I'm like, what was that movie where blah, 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 blah happened? And do you guys know what it was? I'm going to pause. I was so excited that I was remembering this movie in vivid detail, everything that was happening.
Home Alone.
Nope. Shut up. It was the book I was reading. So my brain is starting to remember again the things that it's creating, which I have not done in years. It was amazing. I was so excited that I was like, what movie is that? Because I was seeing the people, the faces. I was seeing in the Expanse. I was seeing all of the station, the Ceres station, Arrow station. The sad decision of self-ending, all of that stuff. I was seeing it in video in my head and clear. And I'm like, what movie is that? It took me like an hour to figure out. I was like, wait a minute, that's the book. Like, I never saw any of that stuff. It was in my head.
Oh, my God. Books are so meditative for me.
Yes.
Who's next?
Jocksta's next.
Oh, the Jocksta.
Be here till midnight at the pace I'm going.
I like the Jocksta. Hippocampus repair. Ah!
I love
Less cortisol and more safety.
I'm telling you, like, it was such an amazing, like, it literally was, I almost cried. Like, I was like, I have not seen, and I used to see it all the time when I read as a kid. Mm-hmm. Even up to the last book I read, I don't remember imaging any of it in my head like I normally do.
I used to read for hours as a kid.
Yeah.
I would go into my bedroom.
Same.
And just, and like my family, they wouldn't bug me, and I would just read and read and read and read and read.
And see, and I had a little bit of a negative connotation with reading because as soon as it came around Thanksgiving and Christmas, I stopped talking to everybody and all I would do was read. Because I didn't want to interact with my family because it was too uncomfortable. Up until the point where they said in front of me and my boyfriend at the time, who was an incredibly nice guy, hey, we'll feed you, but he can't eat here.
Oh, okay. That's terrible.
Fuck you. And that was the last time I talked to my dad for like 6 years.
Yeah.
That was Paul. They said that too.
Oh my God. Paul's such a
like the nicest
nice
person.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah. My uncle did that. That's the uncle that I found after the stroke.
He died.
Yeah. Hope his soul's in a better spot. All right, Jockster. I need to cleanse myself a little bit on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the first one, this one, and then it's your turn.
All right.
Jockster. All right, so we're starting with the Five of Wands. So here's the thing. In the imagery in the Five of the Wands, it actually doesn't look too bad, but it's not the favorite card in the deck. It basically represents a situation that you're in where you are actually right about something positive. It's something is actually happening appropriately, right? You have the good of the answer, whatever it is you're looking for. The problem is all of the people around you are pissed off at you and they're trying to take it from you. So you need to look at, fives often do represent strifes or difficulties or barriers. And in the wands, it's usually in the area of something that you're creating or your career or things that are at work. And so this Five of Wands is basically saying you're on the right path, even despite all the people around you are trying to steal it from you. So pay attention because somebody's trying to knock you off your status. Somebody's trying to knock you off of doing what is appropriate for you, and whether it's, again, a creation or something like that. If you're an artist, a drawer, somebody that does any kind of art, really, the Five of Wands tends to show up and say somebody's plagiarizing you or somebody's using your stuff, or they're intentionally misleading you so that you can't become better than them because they're jealous about it. If you're not so much of an artist and you're a little bit more of a, like me, like a career-oriented person that's really focused on the job, then it could represent somebody at your work who is either taking your work and presenting it as your own to the boss or to the boss's boss, and making you look like an idiot when really it's your energy that's what's driving the positive notion there.
All right. The Celtic Book of the Dead has for you, Jockster, number 9, the Island of the Fiery Pigs. The pigs strike the... Are you laughing at me? The Island of the Fiery Pigs.
The Island of the Fire Pigs.
The pigs strike the apple trees and eat from them and sleep by night in caverns, while at twilight birds eat the apples. Melduin gathers apples to sustain his crew. This card reveals the many worlds in harmony and how right judgment and balance maintain the rhythms of life. What is the fitting or apt thing for you to do right now? By providing, for example, how can I best support my daughter who is leaving home to go to university? By providing what she needs for the first term and helping her make a plan until she comes home again, this move will not prove to be too overwhelming. So I don't think it's something major, really. But did you show the card?
I always did.
But it shows that your worlds are in harmony and how just making the right choices and balance maintain the rhythms of life. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. These are definitely different cards.
I like them.
I like them. But everything should be in balance and can remain in balance if you just think about what to do and what decisions to make coming up this week. You know the right thing to do or what's right, and you should go with it. And things will remain in balance. Don't know if the Island of Fiery Pigs makes any sense, but hope it does.
It does.
It does.
It's the Island of Fiery Pigs. That's so weird.
Okay. Who's next? I want to think of them.
Le Dancer of Le Dragon.
Le Dancer of Les Dragons. Okay.
Le Dragon Dancer.
All right. What does Dragon need to know this week?
Prime tiny dancer. Dancer for money.
No, she dances for dragons.
Dancer.
They do what she wants them to do.
All right, Dragon Dancer.
All right, Dragon Dancer.
You want to go first on this one?
I can. I'm just waiting to see when it's right. Hey, Beach.
I love that she's quiet when she's out here with us. She just wants to be present.
She only wants to be with us. Yeah.
The Chihuahuas gave up, like, fuck y'all, I'm good.
Okay.
We only love you when you have food.
Right?
Ryan.
All right. What does Dragon need to know? Ooh, I like this card. Miss Dragon, the Celtic Book of the Dead, selected for you the apple. Let's see. All right. Unlike the apple of the Judeo-Christian fall or the classical apple of discord, the Celtic apple is a symbolic of the earthly paradise of wholeness and healing. The meaning is wholeness, healing, desire fulfilled, and satisfaction. What is your heart's desire? Eliminate the oughts and shoulds from your heart. So I think this is just telling you, go for it, darling. Satisfaction and fulfillment, go for it. Eliminate the oughts and shoulds from your heart, all the doubts. This is the Celtic apple.
That is really pretty.
I don't know if you can see it. Can I see it? He's totally ignoring me.
I was posting something for them.
Well, I need to show Dragon her Celtic apple. And it's telling her to go for it. This is success.
Ooh, my favorite card in the entire deck.
High Priestess.
Yep. Second to the Magician. First to the Magician. Magician's my second. So the High Priestess comes up for me in a reading. Traditionally for work your magic, but non-traditionally for don't take shortcuts. So it's very important when the High Priestess comes up that whatever you're doing, and you're doing a lot of stuff, take every single in-between step that you need to make whatever happen for you. So whatever the apple means to you, whatever the projects you're working on, slow, steady, consistent, repeatable. Continue to make sure that you're following the process. And that's going to be really important because the High Priestess isn't just a feminine energy. It is an energy of, I've got the answer, I'm going to give it to you, but you have to do the work. So it's that no shortcuts, continue processing, continue moving forward. That's going to be really important when it comes to Le High Priestess. So that is what her message is for you today.
Right. That's for her. High Priestess and the apple.
Favorite card.
I think they kind of go together.
Mm-hmm. All right, Paranormal Witch.
Paranormal Witch.
These cards are getting so beat up.
So many steps. I'll call you every morning and sing to you, Dragon. Since
So many steps, yes, and you have to take them all.
Someone doesn't like me singing.
I was told to be honest. So these cards, by the way, are blessed by Miss Lexi.
Yeah.
She has gotten these twice and chewed them. Lexi was a dog that I had that passed away. It's been a year now, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Holy crap! Let me tell you, of all the things that have ever existed in my entire life, when she passed, I was devastated for like a month at least. I can cry a little bit thinking about it. I miss her. Such a good dog. But she blessed these with her teeth. They still have teeth marks all over them. So, Paranormal, Rook is going to pull a card for you first. Thank you. That's all I asked. Just do it a little bit later, not 2 in the morning. Well, you don't get up that early.
I would never be up at 2. First of all,
I get up at 3, 4 in the morning, and he literally wakes up at let's say he gets up at 7:30. 7:31, he's singing.
If I were allowed to sleep to my delight, I would get up at 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm. Paranormal. What you got?
Paranormal Witch. All right, Paranormal Witch has. Oh. My cards are messed up. All right, Miss Paranormal Witch. Did you pull her card already?
Not yet. I'm coming right back.
All right. Miss Paranormal Witch, you got from the Celtic Book of the Dead the hazelnut. Okay, let me find her. Hazelnut. All right. The well of Sagaeus in the Boyne Valley was the mystical source of knowledge. Poets sought to eat of the salmon that ate the nuts which fell from the 9 hazel trees there. Fionn Mac Cumail Finn McCool successfully achieved this quest and became filled with wisdom. The hazelnut represents wisdom, counsel, and inspiration. So the challenge is to test the situation facing you now with your senses. How does it look at first glance? What feedback do you hear? How does it feel to you? Does it accord with your taste? What does your common sense say? So this is just telling me whatever comes up this week, listen to your gut, listen to your heart, listen to your intuition. It will not steer you wrong. The hazelnut is a very good card to get. I want to show her my hazelnut card. Listen to your gut.
Girls are trying to get out.
Listen to your gut this week.
Ooh, the hazelnut?
The hazelnut. That's a very good card to get.
Hazel.
I don't know if this is completely washed out or not.
It's not. It looks good. You're just bending it too far forward. Hold it straight up and down. Card. There you go. The hazelnut is really important in Celticness, Celticosity.
Celtic leanings.
Celtic leanings. Is that image of the salmon?
It is an image of the salmon that eats the hazels.
Do you know the story of the salmon?
I do not know the story of the salmon.
So and I don't know the details. I'd have to read it. But the salmon is considered one of the wisest and oldest animals, and he gains his wisdom from eating the hazelnut. You hear me?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at stuff.
That was it. Did you hear me?
I'm sorry. I was laughing at Stephanie. What'd you say?
Oh, I don't remember.
The salmon, the story of the salmon and the hazelnut.
They heard me.
Do I have hazelnuts in my future?
No.
No?
Salty nuts.
Okay. What do you have for Señorita Paranormal Witch Willotita?
3 of Wands.
3 of Wands.
So Paranormal, the 3 of Wands is one of those cards that is talking about things getting and or needing a little bit of, let's say, measurement at work. So this is saying that whatever is going on with you and what you're dealing with is going to require some actual changes or measurements in order to get them right. So, if you're working on something at your house, for example, and this is just not you personally, but just to explain the idea, you need to measure twice, cut once, right? So if you're building a house, you want to make sure that you've measured things before you actually start the work. This period of time that the Three of Wands is talking about is the preparation of. So you need to pay attention to preparing things that you're working with or working through. Generally speaking, the wands are going to be related to some creative endeavor. This is if you're a painter, stuff like that, or with a career or something that you're working on from that perspective. Whatever it is, it's saying that you cannot jump into it without first measuring or preparing or taking the time that you need in order to make sure that you're ready to do whatever that thing is. So if you're, like for painters, if you're a painter, artistic painter, this is saying you need to get the right paintbrushes, you need to get the right tools, the right inks, the right paints in order to do it. If it's work specific, you need to get the right tools to do your job. So you might need to do a little bit of measuring first. Measure twice, cut once. It's an axiom. Axiom or axiom? I can't remember. An axiom, I think.
I think it's axiom.
Huh. Yeah. It's an axiom that ultimately just means take your time when you're figuring something out that once you do it, you can't go back on. So that's what I'm getting out of the 3. Did you give it back to me?
I thought I did.
Okay, good. Mystic Manny, how's it going?
Who's that?
Beach.
Is it Ziggy Light?
Ziggy Light is next.
Ziggy Light. It's okay. Do you want to go inside?
Ziggy, Ziggy, Ziggy.
What does Ziggy,
can't you
Ziggy,
see?
Ziggy? Sometimes your
Sometimes
games
the
just
tarot has
hypnotize
a
me.
message for ye.
I just love your witchy ways.
We're not drunk. What we are is engaged. I'm telling you, like it has been this last couple of days. Last night, even the medieval fair, the discussions.
You're blessed and you're not phased.
I mean, things are just engaged. It's so nice, so promising.
VG, what are you eating? No rocks.
All right, Ziggy, I'm gonna pull first from this Ziggy.
Ziggy, 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 can't you see? Witchy ways just hypnotize me.
Oh, really? I'm a little jealous. All right. 9 of Pentacles.
I'll show it.
I love the 9 of Pentacles.
Okay, I'll take it up. Hold on.
So if you can remember, the 8 of Pentacles is masterwork. The 10 of Pentacles is a really solid pride. The 9 of Pentacles is the professional. It is the I am, I know, I am prepared, my shit's together. So whatever you're thinking about during this reading, this card, this 9 of Pentacles, is telling you that you've got all of the things in place you need to finally finish what that piece is. And it's going to finish pretty quickly. As you can see in the image, you've got a young lady that is a falconer. And that is something that would be maybe not considered in many times. Like, who has a falconer? Like, that isn't something that just happens. You train for that. You learn for that. You spend time with nature for that. And the ability for you to have all of those things in order so that you can take that next step into the 10 of Pentacles says, I've got all of my shit together on this. Now, rephrase. Doesn't mean you have all your shit together. It just means within this question or within whatever's in your mind, whatever you're currently working on, everything there is together. And you are the expert in whatever that is, and you should go for it. You're about ready to reap some benefit from it.
And the Celtic Book of the Dead says, to ye, the green and burning tree. All right.
And just for the record, that's ye, not yay. We're not going into that topic.
Ye. The tree that is half green and half in flame is one of the primal signposts of the otherworld in British Celtic tradition. To encounter it signifies the change from one mode of being to another. The meaning of this card is choice. Your voyage is not yet finished. If you do not like the outcome, change it by free choice. I don't know if there's something coming up this week or something you're going through that
I mean, it fits with the 9. That means that whatever
Yeah.
you're going through, you're the expert at it, so you really need to
Right.
push it.
Just make the decision
Yeah.
and it'll be the right one. Let me show you the green and burning tree for ye.
There may not be a lot of things that you always feel like you're completely in control of, but whatever this is, you are completely in control of it. So it's the right thing. So if you've been thinking about making a little bit of a decision, nothing huge, but some kind of decision, it's time to go ahead and make it. Time to go ahead and do it. And this is our healing blend that I'm burning.
It smells good.
It is my favorite one I've ever made. It's the leftovers of the blend I made when Gary went into his surgery.
Oh,
That's what this was for
we
originally.
love Gary. Little tree sap.
Little tree sap is next.
Little tree sap's up next.
Anybody who hasn't had a read or would like a read, now is the time to
What say
let
the
us know.
cards for little tree sap?
So if you would like a reading and you have not gotten one yet, Little Tree Sap is the last person on my list.
And then we gotta
So
go bury
let
our
me know.
cat.
Really?
Oh, but we'll do another one. Yeah.
It's not 12:30 yet. Terrible.
I'm not terrible.
Terrible. Terrible.
I see in the cards you are to buy more books. I'm just kidding.
Probably accurate.
Probably accurate.
Which I know you keep saying about, yes, we are going to go bury a cat. He's been a loving member of our
Ooh,
family.
Mr. Manny. We'll do one for Mr.
However,
Manny. Mystic Manny.
we are going to do our after show, and we're going to be doing it while we're on the road.
So are you going to do it while I drive?
Yep.
Okay. To the land, and maybe we can get there and show them the land. I don't know, it may not be long enough, but
Yeah, it's an hour and a half, hour something.
we need to
But
do
maybe.
we need to do our show from our land sometime.
Yeah.
What better place to connect? Of course, Mystic Manny.
All right, Little Tree Sap. 8 of Wands. All right, so the 8 of Wands is one of those, and I'll give Rook the card to show you in a minute. The 8 of Wands, what you're going to notice, there are 8, I call them poles, javelins, whatever, and they're being shot out of a machine as part of war. So each one of them is representative of a different element.
Take it
So
up.
the 8 of Wands is ultimately saying your artistic and or work-related endeavor, your career endeavors, the things that you're doing right now are fully engaged. You are firing 100%. Things are going the way they are supposed to. If you're feeling a little bit of discomfort maybe, or something's kind of going on at work, we're like, nah, might be a little bored, or maybe you don't like a new person that they have in, or you're afraid maybe there isn't going to be enough work and something's coming out. This is saying, doesn't matter, you're going to be fine. Everything is together. You're firing on all engines. You are truly the master of your work. Again, whether that's artistic or career related, I don't know. At this point, we need some additional cards for that. But the 8 of Wands generally only comes up when it's saying you are fully prepared, you are ready, you are processing, you are firing on all 8 cylinders, and all of your stuff is going together. All of the elements are present and equal, going well together, I should say.
All right, the Celtic Book of the Dead shall say for ye the Sea of Glass. All right. Do you want to show the picture or you want me to?
I can show.
All right.
Let
This
me
body
know.
of water is so crystalline that the sea bottom can be seen clearly. The pristine, transparent sea reveals its entirety with clarity, enabling the whole picture to be seen and understood. This card reveals possibilities both helpful and unhelpful. Notice which cards fall around it to see which is revealed. What is the challenge? What is the clarity you're avoiding in this matter? Where does this matter fit into the bigger picture? Where is my life going? How can I find out what to do? In the press of the crowd, multiplicity of possibility is confusing. Seek what you are looking for by taking a retreat, which will bring you the clarity that you seek. You need space. You need space for discernment and assessment. Huh.
And that fits with the 8.
Some contemplation this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll be honest, like the 8 honestly comes up a lot of times when people are feeling like they're not good enough to do their job, or they're starting to doubt themselves in the job, and it's like, oh hell no, you're top of your game.
We will do Mr. Mystic Manny. What does he need to know this week?
Just another Mystic Manny. Whoa,
Oh, he's just
whoa.
not another. He's the only.
A question, Mystic Manny, or general? Just for the record, I think we're going to, we talked about this, actually streaming some tarot
That'd be fun.
on YouTube. Just actual tarot reads and doing that for a while. For a shift. For a shift.
Oh, look, I'm not one of your nurses. General.
Don't make me hurt you.
Oh, please.
Can you not bother me? I'm at a wine tasting.
Promise? Oh, yeah. I thought about that 2 days ago. I was laughing about I think it was Friday.
Sorry, guys. Inside joke.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah. Nope.
Mystic Manny,
You are contemplating and quiet and solitude, and you know what to do.
Ace of Pentacles.
Mystic Manny.
So the Ace of Pentacles, again, we talked earlier, or we had earlier a read with the Ace of Swords. The thing about aces is they cover the energy that goes from the ace all the way through the king. They represent all of the energy that's within that. Pentacles generally refer to our finances, our house, our home, our things that are here. So there's been some upheaval, but the ace is saying that all of these things are going to be just fine. Whatever you're doing right now, you guys are working on putting the seed in place to actually grow into whatever it is you're going to do next. Ace of Pentacles often comes up when there's a big change that's coming and a big alteration in events of life, but it represents that it doesn't matter what that change is, as long as that seed is planted and watered and grown appropriately and spent time with, it's going to grow into whatever you want, wherever you want. I will caution that the Ace of Pentacles also tends to show up sometimes when it's reminding you that just simple change and movement is not always good. You have to actually sow and grow and kind of do all of the things that kind of go together with that seed to be planted. It doesn't just get planted and then pop up when it's ready, right? You have to do that work with it.
All right, the Celtic Book of the Dead had a jumper for you, and that's the Island of the Forge. All right, the Island of the Forge. The crew hear hammering and a belittling conversation in which they know they have been sighted. Melduin tricks the giant smiths into believing they are coming ashore by retreating, with the stern of the boat facing backwards. As the crew retreat, the smiths lob lumps of red-hot iron at them. In whatever matters going on, is it wiser to fight or take flight? Am I coming up caring for my mentality? Or excuse me, an example is am I up to caring for my mentally ill friend? While your friend is undergoing his illness, he may be violent and his moods will fluctuate. With the help of health professionals, you may care for him until he's more stable. So if something comes up, is it something worth fighting or just ignoring and retreating from? Is there a disagreement, a situation which you need to defend your stance on, stand up for, or just retreat? Oh no! Did we show the card? I don't think we showed it, did we?
Did you give it to me to show?
I don't know. Let me find it. I want to show him.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Hold on. Let me find it.
Sir.
I know I'm slipping.
I know.
You got to show the card. I can't remember if I did or not. Am I buzzed?
Oh, dear God.
I don't think.
You are, but...
Do you retreat or do you fight? That's the question.
Both.
And if it's for somebody else, are they willing to do the work for themselves, or are they able to, or is it something you need to step in and provide support for until they can? It may not be if it's not something in your area of expertise, professionals may be required and you can still care in other ways, but if it's not related to someone you care about, for you, is it something worth fighting for? Is it something you just need to retreat from and
I love it.
let it be what it will be?
Let it be. Let it be.
Is it time for my
Let it
favorite
be.
part?
Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be.
Don't ever want to hear you talk about my singing.
And then, no, sorry. Okay. All right, so we are going to move into Rook's favorite part. We have made some adjustments. We're going to add some people to this and move some things around, but we did start talking about rotating the order just for the heck of it. This list will probably end up getting pretty big. So let's switch over to it and see. We've got to give Rook just a minute because his eyesight isn't what it used to be. So regardless, you just kind of wait for it to come up, and then we will go through this information.
And while we're waiting, thank you guys so much for spending part of your Sunday with us. This community means so much to both of us. The time that's spent, the interactions, the content, each of you put out, the comments, the feedback, the interactions from each of you is just wonderful, and it really does make my days and weeks. So please check out all of these awesome creators, witches, and wonderfuls from the Cauldron Witch on Instagram and from the Cauldron Witch Tarot on Instagram. You best believe you better be there at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. California time. You won't regret it. Her readings are fire, awesome, amazing, spot on.
Can attest.
Meaningful, and relevant. Paranormal Witch on YouTube and Lady Rose 819 on Instagram. Check her out on Instagram. She posts a vlog weekly, and it is just awesome. Unexplained Possibilities on YouTube and Unexplained Possibilities on Instagram. And if you haven't done so, go on over to Amazon and check out, purchase So Strange Times Volume 1. I'm coming up on Chapter 3. I got my copy yesterday. It's awesome. We're so proud of him, and I am really enjoying his book. He does a podcast weekly on the paranormal, aliens, the occult. You will not be disappointed, and you will be entertained. Ziggy Dreadful on Twitch. She gonna stream Resident Evil.
Can't even say stream. How much have you had?
Be sure and check out Ziggy Dreadful if you're on Twitch. Mavethel on Twitch. He also does some games, and I got to talk to him. I want to reach out because I think he was working on some other things maybe for YouTube.
He is.
Addy Estate on Twitch and Instagram, Mr. Malice on YouTube, and Addy Estate on Facebook and Twitter. He, along with the person sitting to my right, Mystic Salann, do a Friday night podcast on the occult. And we are Two Pondering Pagans on YouTube and Facebook, and Two Pondering Pagans on Twitter. I'm Rook Tempest on YouTube and Rook_Tempest on Instagram. This is Mystic Salann on Twitch and Salann Talwin on YouTube. We love you guys so much. Thank you for spending time with us, and we really appreciate the community. It's very enriching, and it adds to our lives.
That was a hug.
That was a hug. All right. Thank you. And get ready. You need to switch on over to Instagram and from the Cauldron Witch Tarot in about 30 minutes, 29 minutes.
Before that, we are going to be in Discord having a discussion about the books you've read. So if you want to be a part of that, you can get in there too.
All right. Oh, let me show the book. I love it. It's very good.
You have problems.
I have issues, but I do love it. And Ed Jurian did the artwork. That's freaking amazing. That's how you do it, folks.
That's how you do it, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you next week.
Love you all. Be
Love
safe.
you.
Have a good week.
Hugs again.